right, guys, we are back. It's kind of late here in Pennsylvania, a little bit anyway. Not my latest I've done. I've done some in like Australia and New Zealand and things, so they're, 12, 14 hours ahead, so I know some of those podcasts can get late, but we're going to do a late night one, and I'm tired, but we're gonna push through it because we push through everything else when it comes to health issues and mental health and all that other bullshit, but these people, these wonderful guests that we're going to have on, there's two of them. One of them, her and her mother found me on TikTok, just popping into my lives and whatever silly shit I was doing that day and dancing around. And, I think her mom found me first, and then, just kind of got passed around because they both have visual impairment and things. And so it was like, all right, you should meet my daughter. And she came in and, oh, your daughter's here, or my daughter's here. And it's like, oh, and then we kind of became friendly, and she said she wanted to do the podcast. And, one of the reasons why I do what I do, not just the podcast, but like TikTok and things, is I try to make it look as cool as possible to have a visual impairment or a disability. Like, it's not all bad. It's not all good. And I know a lot of people pop in my lives who, I've met so many with visual disabilities who don't feel like they can do what I do. And I don't want them to ever feel that way, because it is possible. You got to deal with a lot of negativity and hate and bullshit. But at the end of the day, it's, there's a lot of great people that will still accept you for who you are. And so, yeah, these are some people that were kind and happy that we've become friends. So anyway, you two, you want to tell us your name and a little bit about yourselves?
Yes, I'm Jen, and this is my husband.
Hello.
That's Mike. And we are Blindhound Farms, and Mike was born totally blind, and I am partially blind with a rare autoimmune disease.
Yep, and I am totally blind with a rare genetic eye condition.
And we have a little blind farm out in the middle of nowhere, New Mexico.
Yes, yeah. And like I said, her mom's also got her own health issues, but she comes in and they just come in. They're very supportive and kind. And, like I said, you never know who you're going to meet on TikTok or on social media, right? You don't know you're going to run into a bunch of visually impaired people, let alone blind people on a farm. Like, hey, who's going on out there? And I think it and I know you guys go live and do your own thing, and it's been very important for me to kind of represent us out here, because there's very few of us that feel like they can, be as confident as we are, even though we struggle every day.
Yes, that's so true.
Definitely, yeah.
I feel like that's one reason why we were really drawn and connected with you, because we kind of have a similar mentality of trying to keep upbeat and encourage people to keep chugging along, because visual impairment and blindness does cause, some big hurdles at times. But if you get caught up on the hurdles, well, you never get further down the track. So,
yep. And then I had other friends, who had gone through, similar to what you're going through there, TJ, and losing their vision, and sometimes lost it completely, and it's a devastating thing, and so I like to be there for people who are losing their vision like that, and try to help them through it, because it's something you had all your life, and you lose it. It's like, man, it's got to be hard, so
yeah, shit's not fun. I talk about for me, there's only a few of us that can relate. Well, there's more of us than a few, but there's only some of us who can relate. Is to me, there's three pains. There's the physical pain, there's the mental pain, and then there's the visual pain, which is whatever vision you got left. We have good days, but our good days, I know you're totally blind, but for those of us who have some sight, we have good days, and our good days are still crap, but we just want to have our good days. And when we have bad days, you're pushing through glare, you're pushing through blurriness, you're pushing through irritation and all these things. And it's painful, but it's not actually physically or mentally pain. There's this other type of pain that's really hard to explain unless you have a visual impairment.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's one thing, with Mike and I's dynamic that's unique, is the fact that I lost my vision later on in life and developed my visual impairment not until my mid-30s, where Mike was born totally blind. So he doesn't know anything different. And so that's one thing we commonly talk about, is how how like with him, he doesn't feel a loss of something when it comes to his vision because he doesn't know what it's like to have vision.
Yeah. Yep.
But at the same time, I feel like that makes you like kind of a great kind of example though. Like I know for me as somebody who lost vision, it made it to where it was like, hey, there's this guy who's done it since birth. Like, even though you don't feel the loss of it, you don't know any better. And as a result, you still live life really freely and like, you know, very optimistically. And so for me, it was like, okay, I might not be able to have that in the exact same way you have because I've had a loss. But at the same time, there is that it's like works as this light off in the distance. It's like, okay, just keep pushing.
I'll be here to help you along, you know, and like, I like helping people along, you know, especially like with my wife here. I'm like, I'll definitely, I remember like the first message that I sent her, I'd be like, you know, I'd be happy to help you with your blindness, you know, cause I know it's a devastating thing. And, you know, I would hope you wouldn't lose your vision completely and all that. But I was like, if you did, you know, I would definitely be willing to help you and, you know, and kind of get you the tools necessary to kind of get you through that, you know, but, and thankfully she hasn't lost her vision, but you know, it's
dangling on.
It's dangling on.
Do we call this blind flirting?
Yeah.
Like, what do you have on? I don't know. What do you have on? I don't know either.
Exactly.
Well, how did you guys actually meet?
So we actually met online.
Oh shit!
And so she ran across me, you know, on accident. You know, she was listening to a few of my videos of me singing with my best friend, you know, and so she added me, and then she saw my post about my blindness, you know, about my independence and about how we can be independent as blind people and all that. And she's like, you know, she sent me a message, and she's like, you know, she's like, I really appreciate you, you know, in your posts, you know, it really inspired me, and you know, you really gave me that inspiration to move on, you know, because she had been diagnosed with her eye disease a couple months beforehand.
Right.
And
I was in a dark like hole, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Because I had already had an autoimmune disease, so I was struggling with like the chronic illness stuff for years before that. But then to develop a second autoimmune disease that specifically attacked the eyes was just like, that was the icing on the cake, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was just very like, I was very, very dark and down. And I really attribute it to being really quite a miracle because I did not go looking for him. I did not expect to even come across somebody who was blind. I was in my own little lonely, newly blind world.
Mm-hmm.
And he just literally came up on my phone. To this day, I don't know how he came up on my phone, but he just happened to be there. And so I reached out to him and told him thank you because I realized that, hey, this guy's never had this thing that I've lost. And as a result, I need to keep that as a reminder because look, he's always lived life to to the most that you could fill it up with. Mm-hmm. Mike's been like white river rafting, rock climbing, a little bit of everything you can think of. And to me at that point, I was like, I didn't even know how to get past like my closet in my bedroom.
Right.
It's scary for people, you know, so it's like, man. So I felt bad for her, you know, just as she had just been recently diagnosed with that eye disease. So I felt super bad. I was like, oh man. I was like, if you need anything, just, you know, feel free to contact me and all that. And, you know, and I referenced, you know, the National Federation of the Blind and things like that. And, you know, the resources there. So, you know, I really felt bad for her, you know, I was like, oh man. So.
I mean, I've talked about this a lot. It's just, I do think a lot of it comes down to mindset because that's why I always say I'm a person with a disability and I don't say I'm a disabled person because when you say you're disabled, it means you're saying you can't do something. Like, yeah, you have a disability and yes, it has restrictions. It has, you know, ways of keeping you from doing certain things, but it's not that you can't do it. You just have to do it a different way. But if you say you can't do something, if you say you can't rock climb, or you're saying you can't read or you can't do this, maybe you can't read print. Maybe you use, you know, audiobooks, maybe you use Braille, you use something, you use CCTVs or some sort of accessible device to help you read that device. But it's not how your sighted friends would read it. Or you can work. Maybe you can't do the jobs that you dreamt of being. Maybe you can't be this, or maybe you can. I don't fucking know. But at the end of the day, it's not about can you or can't you. It's do you even want to? Are you going to put the effort into it? Because like I said, we all have limitations. Like we know we can't drive, but we can still get around. It's just it looks different for us, and so it's a lot of it is a mental thing, and it's all within your own head. Like, can you do something? Can you do anything, or are you just a helpless, poor little blind person? And if you want to be a poor, helpless little blind person, there's plenty of people out here that will treat you like that. And but it's about changing the narrative. First off, you have to believe it in yourself. But then you got to, if you want to change the narrative, like, because the reality is you're in control of your own narrative. So if others see you as a helpless blind person, that's probably you reflecting that. So get up and stop feeling sorry for yourself. You can do things. It's just it looks different for you, and it's amazing how many times I've heard people with disabilities do something crazy, and it's like, oh yeah, I don't have legs, and I did this thing. And it's like, yeah, you can do it. It's gonna be hard, but once you realize having a disability is hard, everything else kind of falls into place. It's like, yeah, it sucks. But sometimes it's fun when you get to figure out, like, you get to solve your own mysteries. You're like you're a walking disabled Scooby-Doo. It's fun.
Yeah, humans are amazingly adaptable, and I feel like we forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they used to talk about how dolphins used to be on land until the world got surrounded by water, just got consumed by water. So eventually they had to grow fins and swim. I don't know how true it is, but it makes sense because that's what we do. We adapt. Creatures adapt to their environments, and we have to.
Yeah.
Just like this guy. I know his name is Eric Weinmeier. He went totally blind later on in age, and I think he was a teenager or something like that. And he's done kayaking and all that. And he was the first blind person in the world to climb Mount Everest.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah. You can do shit. It's amazing what you can do. I was telling this story on the podcast, I think maybe last episode, but I got in a car with somebody. We were going down to a conference in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is about 2 hours from me, and we were about an hour in this 2-hour drive, and I said to him, I'm like, hey, man, what happened to that guy we were supposed to pick up? He said, what guy? He said, the guy in the wheelchair. He said, oh, I am the guy in the wheelchair, and I can't feel my feet, but I have this thing that pushes down on the pedal, and I'm like, oh, shit, yeah? Okay. And I wasn't too tripped out because at the end of the day, I'm around a lot of people with disabilities, so it didn't throw me. For a second, I got like, oh, shit. But then he had weird things about me with my blindness because he was like, oh, well, am I going to have to guide you around? And this, and I'm like, that's all I need is a CNI wheelchair guy. Yeah. But we worked through it. But it's like, it's amazing because that's why I never understood why so many like judge those with disabilities, because it's like, man, like when you get to figure out what we can overcome with less, to me it's amazing. But it's like I don't know why we're so looked down upon, because to me people with disabilities are the strongest people on the planet.
The
most creative, because we have to be. Like we're thrown into a pit, and you just like find your way out. It's like, okay, I guess. Like that's why I always say like having a disability is like trying to get into a house with no doors or no windows. It's like, but we got to find our way in. We got to go through the chimney, or we got to bust through the walls like the Kool-Aid Man, something.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I'm like, you just got to take a wrecking ball to the front. But I'm not very patient.
Something. So it's just taking what you have and, just learning how to just on the fly work through it. Like I'm sure there's things you guys do that, have you thought were impossible, and now you do it and you're like, oh, that's just kind of part of my daily life.
Yeah. Well, and that's like one of the reasons, like that's actually a big reason why we wanted to start Blindhound Farms, was because we wanted to take something that is not very typical of even the blind community and show that, hey, we can make this, if we can make this work, to people who always stumble and fumble around everything, then, if there's other blind people out there, then maybe, we could help them, or they could just even see that, hey, it is possible. Like, I feel like a lot of the blind community feels very confined to the city life. And that's completely reasonable because, you know, there are a lot more hurdles if you want to be like, you know, out on a farm or in a more rural area, where that is one thing that we personally are trying to say, hey, like, no, you can break even that expectation from what they think of the blind community and just go do what you want. If there's a will, there is a way at the end of the day.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's why I love, like, respect what you guys do, because it's like you're doing your own thing, but like, you, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, instead of burdening people or society with your pain, you are using your mess and turning it into a message, right? Like, you're taking what you're going through. It's not easy. It sucks some days, maybe all days, most days, but you still are finding a way to be happy and try to help other people so that it's less strenuous and painful for others.
We're
go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Oh no, you did. We're paving the way for other people, you know, like,
yeah,
in that sense, you know.
Yeah, because it's like I said, if I check out tomorrow and unemployment in the disability community goes from 70 to 69, I feel like I had a part in that. Even if it's a small part, I did my part, because I know one person can't do much, but it's like, if I can just, you know, encourage others to, you know, fight through their pain and just make it through, and just hang on there, and then just, you know, because I guess one of the things I've gotten a lot in my lives when I'm struggling with my mental health or my physical health, you know, people still can kind of see the person in there. They still see the human who's struggling but is trying, even though maybe my follow dances aren't as enthusiastic. It's like, at least I'm trying. I'm still showing up when I don't want to show up. And it's like, I hope that just encourages some to be like, man, like, I don't know how the hell he does it, but I can do it because my problems aren't as bad, or maybe they are as bad or worse, but I can still do it. And there's so many that are just looking for that superhero, looking for somebody to come and just show them, give them the blueprint. But the thing is like, we are all so different. And it's just like, there is no real blueprint. You got to find your own way, but we can kind of say, yeah, okay, steer away from that, you know, come over here a little bit, you know, closer. But in general, there's really no real blueprint on how to get through life with a disability, regardless if you have the same disability or not. We all deal with it in our own ways.
Exactly.
And we just got to make the most of this life. We've been dealt a shit hand, and it's what you make of it. Do you want to sit around and cry about it all day long? We did that already. How many years are we going to do that shit? We've been depressed. We've been suicidal. We've been, you know, angry at God, and we've done all these things. But at some point, you got to move on or kill yourself. And I'm not that I am for that, but it's like, you have to tell yourself, what are we going to give up or are we not? And if we're not going to give up, then we got to live. And if you're going to live, that means you got to do something.
Yeah, that's very true.
Very true.
But so many don't want. I think that's what has convinced me that the reason why so many haven't made it, and I forget disability, just in general, they don't make it is because they just don't hang in there. Like they when it gets dark and when you know, the storm is starting to leak through the ceiling, you know, through your roof, they start to go, oh shit, I got to get out of here. I'm out. And they don't hang in there long enough. They have the dream, they have the talent, they have a lot of things, but they don't hang in there. They don't have the toughness to stick it out. So they go on another path, and that path it's okay, but now they're stuck in a marriage they're not happy in, or they're in a job they hate or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you could have been over here. You could have made a left, but you made a right. And, you know, that's why when, you know, some talk about God and, you know, he's kind of like our GPS, if you will. And it's like, yeah, but I think he also gives us choices. And at the end of the day, he tries to put it in front of you. But if you don't accept it, how many times is he going to just be like, all right, I guess you don't want this? Like, okay.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
God, we're firm believers on some of that, where it's like, you know, we don't believe that God is going to rain down manna all the time. Like, if you're familiar with the Christian Bible, it talks about how like God would give manna to the Israelites when they were like wandering in the desert and they had nothing to eat. But eventually God did stop even raining down manna and said, you need to basically go and be on your own and learn to live on your own without this expectation from God. And so we're kind of like firm believers in that. Like, and I think that applies to like all aspects of our life, that, you know, even though we believe personally in God and, it's a big part of our life, we also know that God wants us to fight, to like get out there, because I think that is a reflection of God.
Exactly. Yep. I think it is too.
Yeah, I think the fight is a big part of who God is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so for us, that's really important.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, with what you were saying earlier too, it made me think of this analogy I was once told by a boss at a prior job. And with the idea of always trying to work hard to achieve, or that they're finding a way to do the things that you want to do. He gave this great analogy, and he was saying that, like, basically when we get older, the problem with being older and the light turning off in our eyes is that we give up hope. And he used this example of when we're kids and we have a chocolate cake in the middle of a table and we want that chocolate cake, we will go and take a bunch of chairs and boxes and we will just make this crazy gymnasium just to get up on top of that table to get that cake. We don't care about the risk. We're willing to fall and even break our arm and probably try again. But we know we want that chocolate cake, and we don't let all of these outside fears get in the way. And as a result, most of the time we get caught with our hands in the chocolate cake at some point as kids. But the problem is, as we grow older, it's giving up the hope because reality sets in. And so that's where that hope part is so essential, because you got to forget all of it, because the only way to get to the chocolate cake is to remember the hope and the possibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yep.
Yeah.
It's like the childlike faith, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
yeah, very true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tell you, when it comes to the whole faith thing, that's something that's, I would say, in the last so many years is much newer for me, because I went through that phase of, you know, why God, why curse me with this and so on. And and then I started to really believe and started going, okay, I think there's somebody in my corner. I just got to kind of listen to him a little more. But I will say, as I've developed my own relationship with him, it's like, every day I get, God loves you, and I'm praying for you, and I'm like, look, man, I appreciate it, but the only reason you're saying that is because you see my eyes are messed up. But like, I don't need your prayers. Like, if you genuinely like want to pray for me, sure, but like, don't do it because you don't use the God thing over my head. Or it's like, hey, if you don't go to church, you don't read the Bible. It's like, I have my own relationship with God. I love having like God in my life. I really do, and it's made my life a lot better. It's made me stronger as a person and so on. But God, there are so many people out here that are just willing to force their beliefs on you. It's like, even if you believe in God, it's like, if you don't believe in God like they do, you're not a true believer. It's like, dude, fuck off. Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't go to, your house and tell you what to do and decorate, and leave me alone. Like, and then, well, you're going to go to hell. Well, then I guess I'm going to hell. Whatever, man. Leave me alone. Yeah. But they use that, and it's like, and then I'm sure you've gotten it before, where it's like they use that God shit over your head, where it's like, well, if you pray and, can I pray? I'm going to try to pray away your problems so they get better. And I'm like, look, that's cute, but that's probably not going to happen. So just leave us alone. Yeah. Leave us alone, man. Like, you don't got to keep drawing attention to our problems. We know they're there. They bother us every day. We live with it, but stop using there's too many out here that just use that God thing as like a crutch, where it's like, I don't know. I mean, there's a story I've told multiple times where there's just like, I was in a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru and somebody just was handing me my food. He's like, before you go, can I pray for you? And I'm like, now? Hurry up. Like, I'm trying to be nice here, but God damn it. Like, but yeah, it's like the world. I always say the hardest part about having a disability is everything else. It's not. Yeah. It's not the disability is a bitch. The disability is super hard, but it's everything else, especially with how we're treated. Where it's like, you don't just treat me like you would treat any other person. That's all I want.
Yeah.
And
we just recently ran. Oh, sorry. No. But we just recently ran into where on some of our videos we had somebody coming and posting basically that the blindness basically would not be there with Mike if he didn't sin so much, and it was an implication of blindness being a result of sinning. And so that one breaks my heart. I think especially because we are personally Christians and believers, that for that to be waved around like that misses the whole complete aspect of who God is. And I feel like you said, it's like the other thing too, it depends on how it's being used. So like Mike's had everything, especially with being born totally blind. Yeah. He's had people just walk up to him and like doink him in the head and be like, "You're healed." And I mean, like, I get if it's well intended, but first of all, he's not healed. You're still blind.
You're still blind.
Okay. And so as a result, because you are still blind and everything, I feel like it's an indication that they should be going to God a little bit deeper themselves and ensuring that they are truly hearing from God.
Exactly.
Before anything comes out of their mouth, whether that's telling you that they want to pray for you and they stop you in a moment, or they think they can come up and just shaboink you in the head.
Yeah. Do they do the deaf thing? Do they go up to you and like yell in your ears like you're deaf?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
I don't know why they mix those two up.
Yeah,
I know.
I had one guy one time. Actually, I was like 21 years old. I was riding the bus and I was sitting there. Actually, I was sitting there waiting for the bus. Actually, and this guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can I pray for you because you're blind?" I'm like, "I appreciate it, but I really don't need the prayers. I just need genuine prayer, And he's like, "Well, let me pray for you to get your sight." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know if the Lord wants me to have my sight." And well, he's like, "Well, you have little faith then." I'm like, "Wow, dude."
They always put it on us. That's the great part. It's like when I fight back, they'll go like, someone came on my live the other day. They were like, "What the hell happened to your face?" And I went, and I'm like, "What the hell is wrong with the way you were raised?" "What? It's just a question." It's a fucking ignorant question. Go away. Like, leave me alone. I'm like, dude, you wouldn't do this to me in real life, so why are you doing it on here? Stop feeling so comfortable. It's like, golly, like, we are just people, man. We got our own issues, but like, we are people. And actually, I
feel like that's like a thing that's really been lost with like society as it goes, is that cordiality in those like manners. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I sound like an old fart right now, but I am old. They're so gone.
Chivalry, all that. Like, there's a reason why they say chivalry isn't dead when they find someone who is like, I get it all the time, or not all the time, but every now and then from some older woman or somebody, and goes, I hold the door for them. They're like, chivalry's not dead, and I'm like, well, depends who you ask, but yeah, I mean, it's kind of gone. It's really upsetting and sad.
It's on life support.
Well, I was just in New York City, and it's the worst. I mean, if you think it's bad where you are, it's New York City. There's literally a kid who stepped on my shoes just to get napkins because I was in his way.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, Bullet, stop that. Now he's yelling. Great.
Who wants to be a New Yorker?
Yeah, he's got a New York accent. I don't know if you heard the meow, but he goes meow.
Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah. He wants to be like Jeff.
Yes. But no, I mean, the people there were like, it's like if they're on a bicycle, the only way you're not running into them is if you get out of the way. Otherwise, they're just going to crash right into you. It's like, they're all, and it's like, what? I mean, that's New York. So they're just their own thing. But it's like, people are just so rude. And it's like, I find myself, like, when I'm in a grocery store, I'm anywhere, and I'm the one ducking out of the way. And I'm like, wait a minute, I'm the one at a disadvantage here. Why am I letting everybody go through? Why am I the one being careful where I go when I don't even have a shopping cart in my hand? I left it with my grandma. I go around and grab stuff and then come back and find her and yada, yada, yada. But like, why am I the one that's like being careful running into people when I'm a person and they're the one with the car who can see, and they're the ones that are almost hitting me all the time? And man, it's like, if you think you're at a disadvantage, wait till you just go out in the real world and just, feel like, just try to pretend like people are going to be nice to you. They won't. Mm-hmm. I've had so many doors slammed in my face with just not even paying attention. Just like, like, what's wrong, man? We got to stop that. We got to bring back kindness.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a sad part, I think. And as much as we love social media and stuff, that is something that I feel like people are losing, because we're the last generation to see what it was like without it. We got to experience both, right? Like no life or no social media with our life, and then the boom of social media and the internet. And so it's kind of one of those things where I feel like that's just kind of made it worse anyway. I mean, I'm sure it was already going downhill, but it just really sped up the process.
You can sped the process up. Yep.
Well, and COVID made it worse too. COVID really spiked it even. Like it took us to a point where it's like, hey, you're either masked or not, and stay away from me at all costs. Get away from me. And like I laughed like when COVID hit and all these people were complaining, oh my God, I get to stay home. I got to stay home and collect a $1,200 check a week, and I don't got to work, and I got to spend time with my bitchy wife and kids. And it's like, oh, that's so sad. So you basically have the life of a disabled person. You get to stay home all day. Oh, poor you. Oh, isn't that sad? You don't get to work, but you get paid to do it. Wow, isn't that great? It's like, what's wrong with y'all, man? Why is domestic violence and child abuse and all these things going up? Like, this is the time you have a year to spend time with your family, and you're not taking this time. Like, Jesus, what's wrong with y'all, man? I worked during that whole time, and I saw how people were. They wouldn't touch doors, and like, I remember there's one guy came up to me, and he had his mask on, and he was like, he was like trying to stay away from me, but he was asking me a question. He's like, hey, you got a lighter? And I'm like, wait a minute, sir. So you are afraid of COVID, but not cancer? How stupid is this? Like, really? Cancer you're not afraid of, but COVID, and you're gonna what? Smoke through your mask? Like, what the reasoning behind this shit? It's like, sir, I'm not gonna give you the ick. Okay, I don't have cooties. No, I don't. I don't have a lighter because I don't smoke. But it's like, my God, like what? Like I said, COVID made it worse. I don't know how we got to a point where there was a point where, again, there's still racism and things or whatever, but there's still a point where in your town you could just walk up to somebody and be like, hi neighbor, what's going on? Hey, yo, Mike, what's up, man? Hey, TJ, and that's gone. Like you can't leave your doors unlocked. You can't just go up to anybody and just say hi. Like, no, that starts fights. So
no, and that's the sad reality of it. And I honestly feel it's because like we have become, and I'm including myself in this, so I'm not trying to like just poo-poo on everybody, but like we've become so self-absorbed and so concerned with how we feel all the time. Mm-hmm. Like feelings have taken over. Like, okay, like feelings are good, and we want to learn how to handle feelings, and we want to know how to express them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like we've gone like and done like a pendulum effect where at one point it was like, you can't have feelings, you hide everything. And now we're just kind of on the other side where it's like all feelings. And if you're led by your feelings, I feel like that makes you a little bit more self-absorbed, right? Because then you're just being led by your feelings, which are only yours. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so it really has like spun out of control. And I feel like that's where things can maybe turn around, hopefully, eventually. And like you'd start to see it a little bit, I guess, more hopefully lately. Yeah. But where it's like with people, okay, it's like if you want to get that way, we need to start not being so caught up in our feelings and realizing that sometimes feelings are just that. They're just a feeling. It doesn't necessarily make it truth. And it surely doesn't make it something that we are fully to be led by. We have to have logic and some emotional aspect or component to who we are as an overall. Otherwise, either one off balance is just going to get out of control. And I feel like that's how it is, because it's like nowadays, what's the most common thing I think we hear anymore is kind of like, you got to love yourself first, right? Before you can love others, which is like not saying to hate yourself. Yeah. Of course not. Like you got to be comfortable with yourself, confident with yourself, which are all aspects of, I guess, of loving yourself. But at the end of the day, you learn to love yourself, I believe, personally, through the love of others first. Because that's where love, I really feel like that's where the deepest aspects of love are, is through sacrifice. Through being able to give to others, even when you don't feel like giving. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And so to be able to do that, you have to practice love that way. And then you can actually properly love yourself, which will be a more balanced form of love.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think, we're also in this time where not everybody is just looking for somebody to blame, right? Like, it's like whether,
exactly.
No matter where you are in the political climate, I don't vote. I hate both sides, but it's like, oh, Trump is the reason why the world's bad, or the country's bad, I should say. And it's like, look, he's a part of it. Sure. You can use him as the poster boy for why America's fucked up, but at the end of the day, it was messed up before he even won the first time. He just is not helping anything. He's escalating things. But at the same time, he's not the main reason why we're messed up. It's people like him. It's, rich people. It's politicians and things. Sure. Celebrities. Sure. But even they're not the main. I mean, we all play a part in why the world is messed up, because a lot of things we could do better and we don't. The reality of it is that we could go fully green and we could, eat less animals and do all these other things, but we choose to still eat McDonald's. We still mess ourselves. Like, we're all, and I mean all, including me, you, all of us, we all play a part in this where we could all do better, and we don't for whatever reason. Our demons, or just whatever, our comfort zones. We want to sacrifice so much, but after a while, I mean, maybe it's a disability thing in me where it's like I feel like I've given so much where I'm just like, you know what, man, like I don't want to give more. But like we got to stop looking for the boogeyman to blame all the time and realize that, like, I think one of the best ways to heal, one of the best ways to really open yourself up and fully heal is to look for every little part that you played in your life, that, why things weren't going your way. Maybe you play a part in it, even if it's 5%. I talk about like dating, and I got caught up in like hookup culture, and I kept like laying next to girls who I wasn't even into. And my goal was to find love. And yeah, it's cool to have fun and have sex and all that, but there's a point where I'm playing in that because I'm trying to self-sabotage myself. I'm so afraid to be alone that I'm just forcing pieces that don't fit. And it's like, well, that's my fault. So these girls didn't force their way into my apartment. I let them in. I gave them my number. I interacted with them, right? So that's my problem. And we all play a part in every little thing in life. And it's like, whether it's a huge piece or not, we all play a part in it. We all could do better. And I think so many don't want to admit that they could do more, because it's like, especially when you hear like taxes, right? People will say, well, I do enough. Okay, maybe in that realm you do, but there's some other things you could do better. Maybe just stop being so closed-minded and figure out other ways. Maybe just stop voting for people you don't believe in just because you don't want the other side to win. Maybe don't just vote for, or whatever it is in your life. Just be a better person. Go out and be a kind person. Why can't you do that? Because you are needed in the world. How many good people I bump into out in the wild? Not a lot. I'm sure there are more out there. You just don't catch them on good days.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a dark world out there. And so.
Yeah.
Sure is. Yep.
And I feel like that is one thing that is, again, is kind of the main thing of like where people we're all doing it kind of wrong, in that sense of, again, it comes down to, it doesn't matter whether it's politics or all of these other areas of our life that we all know, all the noise that's going around us, that it's that expectation. Oh, that's what I was going to say, is like, it's the expectation of always putting the blame on somebody else, but also always putting the expectation for somebody else to make us happy or to take care of things. And I feel like that is such a dangerous mindset. And that's where things go so wrong. It's like, you want to see good in the world. I mean, as cliche as it is you want to see good in the world, you got to go out and be good in the world. So just like with us, and I think that's one reason why, like, we love, like, since we've loved meeting people like you, TJ, who are amazing voices for people who are saying, okay, yeah, even if it really sucks and we have our days and we can be very real and very human about stuff, that, yeah, it sucks, but there's still good out there, and there's still things that we can thrive and push for, despite how dark it seems at times.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we can create that good too. Like, it's like if we're going through something dark, we can try to create that good.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times in modern society, we've gotten away from that aspect of, like, I mean, we've gotten that a little bit even with our videos, because, we laugh through everything, but we're people who can we'll be laughing at whoever dies first, their funeral.
We laughed from the first time we talked to each other. So,
but I feel like that's even like one thing we've gotten all the time that are like, you got to stop being like positive, or like we've gotten people who get upset because of how positive we are. And they're like, this is like BS. And it's like, no, we're genuine. Like Mike and I, Yes, we have our down days. Like, we had a crazy last 2 weeks.
Yeah, we did.
And we had our moments. But at the end of the day, that's one thing I think, like, why we vibe so well together is because we remind each other, like, as soon as one of us seems down or off track, it's like, hey, you have to fight for it. That is something that you can control. And we are firm believers of, if you fight for it, yeah, it might not change all of your life. No matter how much Mike wills it, even though you don't, no matter how much you willed it, you're not going to just have full vision tomorrow. And you know what? I'm never going to get back my full vision and my life in that way. But that's okay. I would rather fight for what positivity and good we have, even if that meant it took it from 1 minute of good each day and made it 2. I would rather die knowing I spent 2 good minutes before I died with just 1. Because that's what makes the fight worth it.
Yeah.
Well, it says a lot about those who pull, like, some of them. You can find some of those beautiful things in some of the darkest places, and if and that's why I wish more of us were real, like, especially those with disabilities or those who just been through domestic violence or homeless or addiction, addicts, like people who have struggled and have lost everything, have had to fight for it all back or more or whatever, because we are forced to think outside the box. We are forced to think differently. We have to be different because the world says we are. And we find out later that being different is awesome, but in the beginning it's not awesome because you're bullied for that, or you're told that you're gross or whatever it is, right? So we need more people who have actually know what it's like, because, like, we talk about, like, what's white and what's black, but for me it's never made sense to me, because to me the gray dwarfs the white and the black combined, but for some reason people can only see the white and the black, right? Like, it's like you're forced to be either an Android fan or an Apple fan, or you got to be a Republican, you got to be a Democrat, you got to like Pepsi, you got to like Coke, but you can't say I like RC Cola. Like, why can't you just say you like something, what you like? Why can't you just, why can't your favorite animal be a sugar glider? Like, who gives a shit? Like, why does it matter what you like? If you like what you like and it's not hurting anybody, what does it matter? And it's like we force people into these little categories and labels and things, and it's like, nah, man, like, like I said, for us, we have to think outside the box, because the box doesn't fit. The regular box that fits the rest of the world doesn't fit us. We don't belong there. It's never going to be made for us. So we have to make our own box, right? We got to stop playing with the deck, and we have to just throw it and start with a new deck, because it's rigged. It's never going to work for us. So we have to think differently. And we have to start, like, celebrating, authenticity and just realness and genuineness, because unfortunately,
I totally agree with that.
We're forcing robots. We're forcing these kids to all think the same. They're accepting just regurgitated bullshit and the same old nonsense. It's like these kids are listening. And I'm not trying to be a grandpa, but they're listening to music, and all their, like, they're people that they look up to are drug addicts and just abusers, and they die. And then they're like, yeah, I love this guy. They got me through a tough time. And it's like, yeah, but, like, listen to the music. Like, he said he was going to do this. Yeah. And not even that. It's not even good music. It's like, it's just overly modulated, overly produced bullshit. And they just keep prepackaging it, the same bullshit, whether it's movies, TV shows, whatever. They keep doing the same thing. How many albums need to be remastered 40 times over? Like, there's nothing good coming out anymore. They've literally just hit a wall, and they just said, you know what? We don't need to give them good shit anymore. We'll just give them whatever we feel like giving them, and they'll accept it. And that's on us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on us. Yeah. We keep accepting it. And these kids are so lost because they don't have anything to look up to. Their heroes are freaking YouTubers and TikTok influencers. They're living their life vicariously through these people. It's like, oh, so-and-so went to Brazil and he rode a donkey. And it's like, yeah, it's wonderful. Well, what are you doing? You're watching this guy ride a donkey, but you are literally just sitting in the same pants you had on 3 days ago, like drinking Mountain Dew. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? I think that's what we've lost. Like, all these fake usernames and things. And it's like, who are you at the end of the day? Because I know I'm Timothy, and I know that I may not love everything about myself, but I try, and I fight every day just for my own individuality, because the world tried to take that from me. So now that I am who I am, I'm going to stay this way. But who the hell are you? You're Tickle Toes 42. Never heard of a Tickle Toes 42. I don't think that's a real name. So give me who you are. And then you go to their profile, and it's just literally, comment or quotes from celebrities and shit. And it's like, or just fake, overly bullshit, edited nonsense or whatever. And you're like, okay, you wanted me to repost this video, but like, it's not even yours. Like, give me the person who actually, whose content this really is, and these, like, I feel like we're just headed in this dark place now where no one is an individual.
Yeah. And I feel like we've been heading there for a while, and that's like, it's just really accelerating now because it is. It's like, they're just unfortunately giving society all of these quick hits, like of dopamine, that quick high, and telling people like, here, just keep having this quick little high and it'll last you till tomorrow. And then make sure you get your next quick high. And then people keep going. And then at the, here they are as this time goes by. And then they're like, why don't I feel fulfilled? Why don't I feel like satisfied? And it's like, okay, because I don't care who you want to refer to them as, like, if it's the elites, the people who are celebrities, the people with all the, the dinero, that, at the end of the day, there's an actual truth to how we believe anyway, that there's an actual truth to how life is supposed to be spent in a way. And it doesn't all look identical, but a general plan that does give you fulfillment and purpose. And then there's also this other thing that they're throwing at everybody that they are saying gives you fulfillment. And so for like us, it's like, well, you got to stop chasing those small highs and start chasing the things that genuinely fulfill you.
Exactly.
Because what they're doing is they're doing that, and everybody's chasing these little highs, and then at the same time shouting from the hilltop how they're individuals and they're unique, you know what I mean? And that they're not like anybody else, but they can't even see because they're so high on those little hits that they're just standing around everybody else doing the same thing, going down the same path.
Well, you know that. I mean, you guys know that better with having health issues. It's like, yeah, we would all love to just try one medication and our eyes come back or whatever. We've been chasing that for a long time, but we know trying to get surgeries and all these things, it takes a lot. It's not just, it's usually not the first doctor you meet goes, oh, I can change your eyes. No, it usually they pass you on to the next person. So we have to be patient. We have no choice. So we have to wait it out. There is no quick fixes for us, but But the world, they just want, that's what it started with all, hey, you want the 16th place trophy. Look how great you were. And all these kids just get everything for free. They just expect free shit. I get all the time, people come in my lives, hey, can I be a mod? I'm like, you don't even follow me. I've never met you before. Why would I make you a mod? Because I would be a good mod. How do I know that? You're probably 10.
Exactly.
What have you done to earn a mod? You haven't sent me one gift. You haven't even followed me. Why should I give you things just because you asked?
It's that expectation of instant gratification and like instantly getting whatever they want without actually having to do what it takes.
Like a Burger King society, gotta have it now, gotta have it my way,
But then yet they accept all this other bullshit, like their video games. That every game, like when we played video games, you could just put it in a CD or cartridge or whatever you played, and you could play it. Now you have to pay for everything just to play a damn video game. So like you accept that, but you want everything else for free. When there's nothing in this world is free. Other than things like kindness. The thing that you won't do. The thing that's the easiest thing to do is just be kind to someone. That's all.
Yeah, the most important things are free, and yet we're not even dipping into that. Like, we are. I'm not saying that, but like we're getting less and less about actually, taking advantage of what is free. Because, like you said, that is love and kindness and doing the things that are, genuinely of a proper reason, a good intent, are free.
Yeah. Well,
being a friend to somebody when they need one,
Yep, exactly.
That's why it's kind of up to us to not only be the calm before the storm, but while in the storm, because it's like there's so many like that. There's a reason why we won't panic when things get crazy. Like, we may have our moments with things, but for the most part, we keep it pretty even keel, even when things aren't going our way. We may have our moments, we may break down, but we always rebound the next day or whenever. Whereas most, like, I say this all the time, if most people woke up with our vision, they would kill themselves. Like, we would have a lot more suicides if just everybody woke up with our vision tomorrow. Either any of the three of us. Like, they woke up, obviously, with Mike's, but, like, any of ours, I think they woke up, I think we would have a lot more suicides because they really take this shit for granted. And I surround myself with so many disabled people, so I don't know what it's like to be deaf or any other disability, but I can have an idea because I know what I go through, and I can only imagine what they go through. And so I'm very, I really care and appreciate and value my other body parts, even if they're beat up too. I go, yeah, man, I'm happy that my knees can bend or whatever.
And that's so essential. And see, that's what's needed, like in the disability community and outside of it, is that perspective of appreciation and gratitude. And I feel like, and I keep saying I feel like, but I know, like, when you go around in even the disability community, we see it all the time online. And again, it's something else we kind of get poo-pooed on a little bit, is people are saying, like, hey, stop making it sound like, well, how do I word it? Okay, I guess it's when it comes down to, like, when it comes to our followers, we get a lot of sighted people who do say things like, hey, Mike, it's inspirational to see you doing, X, Y, and Z still without sight. And then we've gotten a lot of smack from, I don't want to say like a lot, but there's been a little TikTok drama where other people have been actually upset with our content, in the fact that saying, like, hey, you shouldn't, like, allow and be okay with sighted people coming in and saying, like, you're inspirational because you're blind and do this, or you're inspirational because, to me personally, and then I'm not saying everybody has to agree on it, but, like, for me personally, that just seems crazy to me. Because, like, I tell Mike all the time, I'm like, I don't understand why the disability community they could be this amazing light for all of society, because they're out there, let's be honest, a lot of people are being badasses with disabilities and getting through life with positive attitudes a lot of times, not always, but with positive attitudes. And that is something whether you want to call them normal bodied or whatever, haven't had to do, and they still have terrible attitudes. And that can be such a great positive light. So it's like, don't you want them to be inspired by you?
No, some of them,
if you want to be a good example.
And then the other thing to consider too, is most people, like 99% of the world population, has never met a blind person before.
Yeah.
So they're going to be amazed. They're going to be inspired, and
it's just when they pity you or anything like that, it's what you don't want. Oh, I feel sorry for you. Like, don't do that. But no, I learned that the hard way when I started doing this. I got a lot of shit from blind people trying to tell me that I can't speak for blind rights because I'm not totally blind. Then I had the disability community trying to push back on things like you're talking about, but also, hey, you're the eye people, so stick with your eye people. It's like, go fuck off. I can talk to whoever I want. Like, no. Yeah. I'm about us. I'm not about just the blind.
Yeah, we should be about humanity. We should be about our neighbors and our community and our fellow mankind. And I feel like that is where, like, I hope the disability community kind of gets shooken up a little bit, because I feel like they tend to get the communities become like echo chambers. So, like, you'll have like a really tight knit blind community, and you'll have a really tight knit deaf community. And then, and they go into all these areas, and it's like, okay, this is kind of starting to look like, maybe like different denominations of Christianity or something, or like comparable to religion. And it's like, okay, let's not do that. Can we not just fight over, if you want to go and you want to feel like you're down in your, in your disability, just great. We understand that. We totally get that. Like, go have your moment, cry it off. But if we're at a comfortable point in our disabilities, in our walks, where it's like, we are comfortable about talking about blindness. We are comfortable about answering the same 30 questions. We're okay with that. And it's like, that is an area that I think was shocking to both of us, was we weren't expecting to get such like kickback from the disabled community versus even the, abled community. So
exactly.
No, I mean, yeah, you get it from both sides. And usually the ones that really get on it are the ones like you. And it's like, I think for me, that's why I stopped. I always say I'm a mental health and disability advocate, but I learned that my people are those who struggle. It's not even disabled people anymore. It's not blind. It's not even mental health. It's all inclusive. You can be homeless, and I've never been homeless in my life, but I'll still fight for you because, we're in this together. And actually, most people who are home, you can make a case that everybody homeless is disabled anyway. So, but, I fight for the elderly, the addicts, all the things that I'm not. But I fight for anybody who just needs somebody to fight with them. I don't give a shit about disability or color or any of that shit. That shit gets old. Those are labels and things that just keep us fighting and distracted from actually making real strives towards what we're trying to achieve and accomplish. So at the end of the day, it's like if somebody says, hey, you can't speak for us because you're not, I don't give a shit. I don't care. No one asked you. No one asked you. I'm trying to help you. You know what? If you don't want the help, I'm gonna there's a storm coming. I noticed that you don't have any supplies here. I'm going to put them on your porch. If you don't take them, then I guess they blow away, and I guess your house gets knocked down. But at the end of the day, I tried. And if you don't want to accept my help, then whatever, fuck off. I guess good luck to you. I tried. That's all I care about is I'm doing my part. And you don't have to take my help. You don't have to listen to anything I have to say. Like, my podcast isn't to get people to get off their high horse. And I don't care. Like, you just listen. I'm just trying to help people stay alive in one way or another. So exactly. if that's a problem, then I guess I got a problem then. So and that's a true act of like love, though.
Yeah.
And being able to say that and say like, hey, like, I'm just here offering what I can. And sometimes I feel like we don't even always know what that is.
Exactly.
But that is love, is like just trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is trying. I think just genuinely giving it a try and just offering what you have and.
Even if it's only 2 pennies.
Yep, exactly.
Well, and I think the real elephant in the room, which some don't want to say, especially when it comes to disability community, there's a lot of those people who hate the fact that they have a disability, and they don't. They just don't. They hate themselves so much that they take it out on other people, and they haven't dealt with it. And I've been there. Yeah, I've been there, so
I get it.
But don't take your bullshit out on me. Like, there's some that literally feel that way, but also get certain things, certain benefits and things, and then they don't want to see anyone else get it. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, let them get wherever they got to get to. There's definitely like a hierarchy with the disability community, and for me, I've never played a part in that bullshit. I don't care. Like, I am just me. And I've met many amazing advocates, and I love helping them. But some of them, like, bother me because they're so, like, they don't know how to remove the advocate hat, right? It's like when you see these religious people who everything they say is God, Jesus, Jesus, God, 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 Jesus. And you're like, dude, like, did you see that pretty girl walk by? Did you see the game last night? Something? Like, who are you? And some of these advocates, like, their whole thing is, like, they walk into a restaurant, oh, my God, there wasn't a ramp. It's like, can we enjoy the breadsticks? Like, we're at Olive Garden,
exactly.
Like, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, exactly. I knew some people actually who walked into a restaurant and they didn't have a bro menu in there. They were expecting a bro menu, and they sat down and all that, and were about to eat, and the waitress told them there was no bro menu, and then they threatened to sue them. I was like, oh, come on, people. Are you serious?
That stuff gets me so bad.
It drives me crazy, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and I feel like that's where, like, the disability community, again, there's a lot of good that comes out of having advocacy, obviously, for disability.
Absolutely.
But there is also that dark, like, I personally feel that dark, like, depressing, like, branch of it that is like, anytime anybody just looks at you wrong, well, it's because you're an ableist. Anytime anybody asks you out of, ignorance, that's because they're an ableist. And it's like, no, okay, first of all, sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we're told differently or shown differently. So I feel like that's like one thing that I think is excellent about Mike is the fact that he's so patient and he's so willing to educate people. That is his thing. He's great on it. He's so patient that even when other people get upset, he's willing to, like, or I should say when they get rude, you're more patient than I am in the sense of, like, taking the time to be like, hey, I understand why you're upset. And I'm just like, no, I don't got time right now. I don't care. No, but
I'm good at dealing with, like, individuals, but, like, I guess with TikTok is where I get pissed because it'll be it's the volume of it. It's never one person in particular that bothers me. I mean, there's some that'll just be outlandish and they'll say the most vile shit. That does nothing because they're just trying to get a reaction out of you. But it's the volume of how many people think it's okay to go up to somebody and say, "What's wrong with you?" or "What happened?" That's the shit that it's the magnet. Like, it's how many do it. It's if it was one person, that's easy to deal with. Like, hey man, like, what do you mean? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Why would you say that? But when it's 30 in a row, what's wrong with you? What happened? What's going on? Are you high? Blah, blah. That's when it's like, all right, shut the fuck up, all of you. Because it's like, good Lord, this is how y'all were all raised? Like, this is sad now.
Yeah.
Like,
and that comes back to that manners thing where it's like, okay, manners and common courtesy would tell you, first you come and be like, hey, what's your name? Like, hey, TJ, I'm Jen. This is Mike. Who are you? Tell me more about yourself. And then be like, hey, do you mind if I ask you about why your peepers are a little bit different than my peepers? Yeah. But, I try to remind myself that I feel like a lot of the younger generation, they weren't taught that. Like, that's a failure of, we're old enough now. Oh my. To have, like, if we had kids, we're of the generation now that can have kids who are adults. And it's like, I have to remind myself and be like, okay, I got to have a little bit more patience because our generation failed them. Mm-hmm. Our generation has failed them in teaching them and, directing and guiding them on like what proper etiquette is when it comes to, just interacting with anybody, whether they have a disability or not, and knowing how to say, hey, you don't ask personal questions. I mean, it's kind of like what we were joking about the other day. Like, when we grew up, we were told like, religion, politics, all of it is like, it's okay. It's like having a wiener, right? That you don't just bust it out in the middle of dinner and slap it on the table.
I thought I had blind privilege. I can do that.
Oh yeah, there you go. But there's like a common sense of like a time and a place and a way to do things. And I remember that being said all the time as a kid. Like, you don't bust it out in all places. But they weren't taught that. Like, it's so obvious to me, like this younger generation, what would it be? Gen Z?
Yeah.
Like, it's either one extreme or the other. I feel like there's like this small pool of like some really respectable, just awesome individual, like young people. Mm-hmm. And then there's just this, and I can't even say it's on the young people because I run into people our age that are terrible.
Yeah.
But I do think, especially with the younger generation, it's like we're just keep failing, each generation down below us. And it's like, we got to start recognizing that, and we got to change our generation and change this aspect of it so we can better teach the generation below us.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's every generation from my mom's generation failed mine and so on and so on. It just keeps getting passed around, and it doesn't seem like the before generations ever want to evolve and adapt to what's going on. They just say, back in my day, this was better. And a lot of times that's the case, but it still doesn't change what's going on right now. And we have to do better. And like, I talk about this with my grandma because she's 93, and it's like, she just kind of is stuck in her ways. And I'm like, Grandma, like, I hold doors, I do these things because it's just the right thing to do. We can't just be, well, I'm 93 and I can just get away with it. Like, they'll let you get away with it because you're 93, but we're also getting in a time where now people will beat up an old person just because you did something to them they didn't like. And it's like, you have to be careful. And I'm not saying you should just be respectful to every person just because, you're afraid of getting beat up. But at the same time, it's like, you should just be nice just because, man, I'm not always there to protect you. And it's just a thing to do. But unfortunately, when I try to use that as who do I use as an example other than myself? Because if you look around in the store we're in, I'm one of the only very few people that's holding doors or being respectful. So it's like, I also can't just like, well, Grandma, you're the only one, because she's not. At least she's like, I'm older and whatever. But we got to stop using these things as like crutches and excuses, because it's like somebody's got to take the bull by the horn and be the leader here and actually just say like, no, man, it's okay to hold doors or let somebody go through. And why are we all in a rush? And it's just, like I said, it's just, kindness is free. Just be kind to people. I don't know why that's such a hard thing, but everybody's just in their own bubble. And it's like, you disrupt my area. But it's like, you're in a public area. Like, I didn't go to your house and start, moving around your furniture. We're in a grocery store, Like, I'm sorry that I'm reaching for the same, same area as you are with, you want Cheetos and I want Doritos. Oh, I'm so sorry. I got so close to you. Like, relax. It's okay. It's like, Jesus Christ. So what's your guys' goal for, like, are you going to be like a full-fledged, like, creating family, content creative family? Are you just like taking it, you just having fun with it? What are y'all doing? What's the goal?
So
it's both,
I think we're just trying to have more fun with it. Honestly, we didn't expect much to come from TikTok.
Yeah.
So we signed up for TikTok like a year ago. And almost exactly a year ago now. And we had never been on it at all, other than I think like I had, a family member kind of show me a little bit of TikTok, but we had never actually like been on it and interacted with it. And so we kind of just went on there for the heck of it. We thought it was going to be like Facebook world or something.
Yeah.
To discover it was a whole different like machine, a whole different world. And, so we are still learning. So we just started posting content regularly July 1st and learning how to kind of do that. And it's been a journey. I feel like for us, it's all about like, one, we're so cool with just being poor. Okay, we're cool with it. If we have to be poor, we'll be poor. Okay, we know that we got what we need in life to basically be content with living in a cardboard box. However, we do also are okay with being content in like not having to stress about money all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
So we feel like for like us with TikTok, it's like if we get caught up in the mindset of being like our goal is to become like content creators, we're kind of missing the point.
Yeah.
And so I feel like for us, it's like, okay, we got to remind ourselves because we didn't even know that was like really a thing up until recently. To be like, okay, like, let's just have fun with it. If good like that comes from it, to be honest, we're just content and happy with like connecting with people like you. Like that is such a blessing in our life. You've been a blessing in our life. And so it's like, we're so okay with that. And if we ever got to the point where, we could be like actual content creators and cool. Like we'll roll with the punches.
And that's why I say both, because it's like, man, it would be cool to be content creators, but it's just we're having fun with it too. It's like it's a cool experience and it's a neat journey that we're on.
Yeah, we're trying to pave our pathway, and we don't even fully know what that looks like. We just know like we started Blindhound Farms as like the first, I guess you would say, stepping stone to saying, hey, we are going to carve out our own path, even though we don't even know where that path fully goes or what it looks like. But we just know we want a simple, comfortable life where we can enjoy the people that, are around us, whether that's digitally or in person, and, just make the best of life. And if that means content creators, great. If that means just a few people on TikTok like to listen and hang out with us, we're comfortable with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I say content creating is the easiest and hardest job I've ever had because it's super easy to do, right? Like, just pressing play or hitting go live or pressing record to record a video. It's easy, but then it's the engagement part. It's getting people to like you and all this other shit that's just hard. It looks easy, but it's really not. And I don't know how many people come into my lives and will tell me, I don't know how you do what you do because I couldn't deal with all the ridicule and all the nonsense. And I'm like, honestly, I don't even know how I do it really half the time. I just tell people like what I started to do is I said, you know what, I'm going to let the snake bite me. And then I'm going to take the anti-venom, and then I'm going to let it bite me again, and eventually I'm just going to be immune. And it's kind of what has happened. But it's TikTok as and social media in general, when you use it for the right thing, it's a really beautiful thing. It really is. It's amazing. Yep. It just sucks because there's so much bullshit on there. There's so much nonsense. There's so much like smokescreen in the middle that just makes you hate it. Because you're like, golly, and then you feel like TikTok plays favorites with beautiful people and all these things. You're like, TikTok, like, why are you only pushing out the videos that I'm crying in or whatever the fuck? It's like I know right? You're doing this on purpose. Like, stop. And it's clingy as shit. Like, it's such a clingy bitch. Like, it will not, like, if you take a break from it for a day, it'll go, oh, yeah, watch me not show up your next live. Watch you have 2 people in here, and you had 200 yesterday. Well, now you're gonna have 2. Like I took 1 day off. Can I be sick? Can I have a sick day? There's no PTO on TikTok. Nothing.
Yeah.
You know? But it's at the same time, it's beautiful. It's I've met amazing people like you guys and so many others, and it just I've learned a lot about myself. I've done so many videos that I've just never thought I would ever create because I'm opening myself up to just letting the world see me for who I am without, worry about judgment. And that's hard because when you get bullied as a kid, like all you worry about is judgment. You worry about what everyone thinks about you. And so, but it's you use it for the right thing. It's an amazing platform. So,
yeah. And that's so hard. Like, I feel like that for me was like a big part of like where my personal goals are with TikTok is it's a tool for me to also get more comfortable in the world since discovering this new version of myself since developing like my eye disease and disability, because that was such a hurdle for me at first. I'm a fairly, a relatively outgoing person, but with my disease, it really affects your appearance. It affects your face and stuff. And so my whole life was like, not only was like you're dealing with the pain, and I'm sure you completely relate to this, is, not only are you dealing with the discomfort and the pain, but then you are just dealing with the changes in your face. So it's like, for me, it was like going in and looking in the mirror. I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I'm like, who the heck is that? Like, and so now to like, I feel like TikTok is helping me push. Thankfully, TikTok doesn't like me. TikTok likes Mike though. And so for me, it's like if I post, like I posted a clip of myself today, just kind of giving a little bit of my background, and it tanked. So, but it's good though. Like I hate to say it that way, but in some ways it's good because it just made me do it without like thinking and then getting this worry of like, oh my gosh, 1 million people or, even just 10,000 people saw me on TikTok. And so it's been kind of this nice little, like, I guess, a way to practice getting more comfortable and confident with this new version of myself.
Yeah. And then I think for me, it's been a good avenue for me to educate, people about my blindness, and also just have fun, and just interact with people and just kind of be a light in this dark world, because there's a dark world out there, and I feel like it's an avenue for that, for me. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Just being the light in this dark ass world, man. And you just hope that it helps others do the same. If you inspire 1 or 2 people to just do the same thing, it's like now you're not the only person out here. You don't look like there's just one little candle in this dark world. Like now there's a couple of you. Because we have to start pushing. I did a video like a while back on like, what we should make trend. And I just said like a bunch of things that were good, like how about, sticking with a spouse and not cheating on them or, whatever the fuck, and one of the things was, just being kind and all these things like, let's just do good. I don't know why, like it matters like what other people do in their household and all that. Like let's just do good. It just sounds so stupid and corny, but a lot of the corny things, like when it's overused, it sounds corny. But like love, like you guys have true love and you got family and everything. So it's like, it's easier for you guys to be like, you know what? Money doesn't mean a whole lot because you have a farm, you have family, you have each other, you have animals, you have land, you have things that are so valuable that you just can't get. You can't just wake up tomorrow and buy it. And so like that makes it easier for you to enjoy your life. And yeah, you had your sight taken from you, but at the same time you were given so much more in return.
Yeah.
So you're giving back in your own way. And it's like, that's what's powerful. But so many they take these little things and go, oh man, God, my boyfriend broke up with me. Life's over. And it's like, you have fucking no idea how bad life can get. You have no idea until you've literally had a near-death experience, or you're suicidal, or you're homeless or whatever. Like you have no idea how many things, like how bad life can get. It can get really, really bad. And if that's not happening to you, and you woke up today and you can breathe properly, you can see, you can hear and walk, and thank God right now. Like maybe you're not doing great at your job, whatever, but Jesus, man, just be happy because anytime I ask somebody how you doing, they go, I'm having a great day. I'm like, don't take that for granted, because there's no guarantee tomorrow that's going to happen. Because for someone like me with fluctuating disabilities, I can go to bed tonight going, man, what a great interview. They got me feeling good about my eyes. I can wake up tomorrow going, oh, fuck this, I'm ready to go back to bed. This day sucks already. So it's just anybody.
And that's the thing, like, gratitude and appreciation is so important. It is so hard to always feel, but it's like, to me, I think it's like the number one thing that we should be fighting always for, because like I personally, I think we've talked about this a bit, but like I personally know, like for me anyway, it's a reminder. I had a near-death experience. I literally died when I was 22, and I was brought back, and it really changed my perspective on life. But I wish I could say that, it took away any times of like doubt or like feeling bad for myself, but it didn't. And it thankfully did give me this, like, this really true to the core thing that I could never, lose, which is this reminder of fighting for appreciation. Most people don't die and come back. And I was given a gift that way. I see it as a gift, and saying like, okay, like I have this gift now that reminds me like tomorrow could be our last day. And it also helps prioritize how I want to spend that last day. And it's not easy, even with me who's had an experience like that. So then it makes me more empathetic towards everybody else, because I'm like, man, like we're all just trying so hard, and like we really got to fight for that appreciation and that gratitude, because we need it. It's a necessity. If we get caught up in the other stuff, we lose ourselves. And let me tell you, as somebody who has literally died and come back, you do not want to be on that last 5-10 minutes of your life thinking of all of the things that you wish you would have done, or you wish you would have been more kind and loving about, or whatever it is, and not have the opportunity to do it again. Nobody wants that. I faced it. And let me tell you, it's not, I wouldn't wish that on anybody, in the sense of like, to me, it's like the most shameful also moment. It's the biggest blessing, but it's also like the most shameful moment of my life, because it really reminds me just how much work I always have to do on myself, because of, these parts of me that aren't good. The times I complain when I shouldn't be complaining, or the times I lose faith, or all these different things. It's like, you know what? It was a big like mirror to myself, I guess.
Yeah, and these kids don't know you don't get many do-overs. So
no.
Some things you don't get any. All it takes is one horrible mistake, and your whole life is either over or it's completely changed. And a lot of times it's not for the good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how it was for me too, in a way, because I almost died, last year I went into sepsis, and I was close to dying myself. And I kind of gave me this thing. I was like, no, I gotta take this gift, this gift of life as an opportunity to, to work on myself, obviously too. And then also bless others through it the best that I can, offer the love that I can, to the best that I can, and, and things like that. So it definitely gave me that reminder for sure. So,
yeah. And I feel like that's shaped like our perspective on life, between both of our situations, where it's kind of like, again, where we kind of get a little poo-pooed on, but, of why we are so positive. We try to be so positive, and we fight to be so, appreciative of the life we have, no matter what that is, whether it's 2 pennies or 100, is because of the fact that we have experienced that. And you know what, when you're on your deathbed, you are going to be thankful for the day that you even felt like, crappy. And so it's like, we don't realize those things, obviously, usually until it's like too late oftentimes. And so we're firm believers in fighting for that. And that's something that I feel like we do come in conflict with sometimes in areas of the disability community, because there's this idea of like, we need to be able to tell ourselves like, hey, pick yourself up. It's okay. There's a better day ahead of you. And it not be taken as in like an insult or something that is, trying to say like, hey, your feelings aren't somewhat justified. And it's like, no, there has to be a balance of saying like those feelings, okay, we get it. We totally understand it. You are justified in feeling those feelings, but it's not getting you anything. Mm-hmm. And so there has to be this reminder of saying, hey, pick yourself up and get going and look and appreciate things. And I, like I said, that is where I feel like we try, because it is important for us to be a little bit different on that. Cause it's like, you don't know. And let me tell you, if you have one moving leg, appreciate that darn moving leg. Or in like my situation, if you have one eye that kind of works, appreciate that kind of working eye. Yeah, it sucks. My other eye is crap and they both hurt like, heck all the time. But I appreciate what little vision I have. I appreciate that I have pain in my eyes. But you know what? Right now, my legs are working. We have done things like Mike and I are volunteers, and like we volunteered for hospice and stuff. And we have seen people on their deathbed that cannot move, cannot talk, cannot do anything. They cannot, they can't even move their eyes. So like people with ALS, when they're on their deathbed, can't do anything. And they're stuck in that state until the day that it finally just shuts down the rest of their body. Right. That's obviously an extreme case, and hopefully like most people won't have to experience that. But we got to remember just how good we do have it. And that doesn't mean that recognizing how good we have it takes away from, yes, the struggles that you go through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it all, better or worse, it can all change tomorrow. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think that's why some treat us the way they do, right? Because I think so many try to avoid like the homeless or addicts or people with disabilities because we're a huge reminder how messed up life can be. And I think some try to separate themselves so far from it because it's like, well, that couldn't happen to me, right? But it's like, no, man, you are one car accident away from being disabled or whatever other accident, whatever, and specifically the disabled. It's like, I don't know why we treat us, why we're treated the way we are, because the end of the day is at some point in your life, you're going to be disabled. You're going to need glasses. You're going to need hearing aids. You're going to need a cane or something. So you're going to be partially disabled at some point or another in your life, because every old person is disabled. So why shun them? Because you're headed this way, whether you like it or not. Our bodies are not meant to be long lasting. And so we have to make the most of it every day. But we understand that because we've come close to death and we've had something taken from us. And, there's nothing like mourning in your own body, a body part. Yeah. And so, but it's like, I wish so many could just understand or hear these type of conversations, because it's like, this is what needs to be heard, because it's like, you could be so grateful for just what you have, man, because what you have may not be great. Like I keep talking about, if you're running this race and you keep bitching about you're in fourth place, but you forget that there are 10 million people behind you trying to get to fourth place. It's like, you may be really not in third, second, or first, but you're better off than most, for us.
Exactly.
Like you guys don't, you talk about not having a lot of money, but you have family, you have friends, you have love, and you have a place to stay, and you have this, farm and everything. And it's like, you don't need money. I mean, you do, but you don't. And it's like, that's more valuable than just about anything. Really, love and family is probably, and good health is the most valuable things you can have. And it's like, you can't ever forget that, because so many would love to be where you are. They would love to have love. They would love to have family. And some have these things right now. And I think that's why there's so many who are winning right now, but they've never lost anything, so they don't know how to win. And for us, we've lost everything. We've lost most things. And so we're just trying to get back to some normalcy and trying to have some sort of balance in our life. But we're not even chasing our vision back. Like, we're trying maybe, but at the end of the day, like, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We'd still like to find love, or we still would like to have a career or whatever it is that we're looking for. And we're not looking for much. I always feel like those of us who ask for very little still get less. And it's like, I'm still pushing. Yeah. I'm like, I refuse to accept less, because I know I deserve more. But I know what I have is also very valuable, because in every sense of the word, in the disability community, the three of us are all success stories. No matter how we try to beat ourselves up, no matter how we try to put ourselves down, we are independent disabled people. That doesn't come very often. Not many disabled people can say they're independent. They live on their own. They're in love. They're, they have careers. They have this. They have that. Right. So many of them don't have that. So, that's so it's just, again, being grateful for what you have and not for what you don't, because it's easy to look at all those who have what you would like to have, but look at all those people that would love to just have your shitty little apartment.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, let's wrap up because we've done this, and I really appreciate y'all. Y'all are loved. I really hope y'all had a good time.
Definitely. We appreciate you having us on with you, and to come on and talk. And
of course. You want to promote your TikTok?
Oh, yeah. So, you can follow us at Blindhound Farms, or you can also type in #HeyMike on TikTok, and it will take you to one of our videos.
Yep.
Usually it's this handsome guy here on screen. So,
yeah, from what I hear, there's a really sweet, handsome guy who's always getting nagged at by his bitchy wife. That's what I hear.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not saying names. I'm just going by the rumors.
What can I say? It's just we were born with this dynamic.
Well, yeah. At the end of the day, as long as Mike doesn't carry, Mike doesn't.
Whatever makes Mike happy, and from when I got to first know Mike, he said he always likes when a fire gets lit underneath his butt.
Well, hey, I'm sure he's happy. He gets to sin with you every night, so that's good. So go, Mike.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, it was a pleasure having you guys on. Your friends, if you ever need me.
Totally.
I'm around.
Oh, yeah.
Happy you guys.
Thank you. We are so appreciative of your voice and our platform and letting us, come on here and talk with you. So
yeah, and let me know when you want me to come on your live. I will do it anytime.
Let's do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. We were just talking about it. We didn't even do it Sunday. So we're like, we got to get our butt in gear, but we have so much going on. We have markets, but we're going to try. We were talking about tomorrow. So,
and before we go, is Mama's doing okay?
Yeah, she's doing a lot better today. She's, a little, I guess, dragged down and stuff, but
she's getting through it,
Yeah.
She's a tough
It was scary. It terrifies me. My mom is such an influential person in my life, and
even in my life nowadays too. She's real influential. And
you want to talk about somebody who's been through the ringer and had a very hard life. My mom could tell you stories that are out there. Everything from, she, and I know she'd be okay with me sharing this, but everything from a severely abusive household to, and dealing with a little bit of the mafia, even at one point. Right. She has lived a life that is she's been through it all. And she is who she is now is a testament of making that choice too, of if you have a choice, you can either let things make you bitter, or you can either let things make you appreciate stuff and try and be more joyful. And my mom is a really good example of that.
Yeah, I've always appreciated every time she comes in. She just sends gifts and donates and does all kind of shit. And she's just always friendly, and she loves the music time. So that's why I'm waiting for her to get better so I can do music nights.
Yeah, yeah. She was because we told her we were going to be doing this with you, and she's like, "Tell TJ I love him, and I hope he's doing good. And sorry I haven't been online as much." And
it's okay, it's all good. I tell her I said hello, and yeah, man, we'll talk soon. But I appreciate you guys.
Thanks for having us.
Sounds good. Thank you. You have a good night.
Take care of yourself, man.
You too, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
All right, guys. We are out of here. I'm tired. I'm going to go lay down. Bullet is knocked out, but I'm getting up. I'm going to go home. I'm not going home. I'm already home. I'm going to bed. Love y'all. Have a good one, everybody. Hope y'all enjoyed. Thank you for the good times. And, yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.